In the Arizona Territory during the winter of 1887, 36-year-old rancher Thomas Reed lived alone on a small cattle ranch surrounded by rocky hills and endless desert. Known for his quiet nature and honest heart, Thomas preferred helping strangers over chasing wealth. Though he owned little, he believed kindness was the greatest treasure a person could ever possess. One freezing evening, while returning from checking his cattle, Thomas noticed fresh footprints leading toward an abandoned cabin near a dry riverbed. Curious, he followed the tracks carefully. Inside, he found a young Apache mother named Ayanna huddled beside 5 frightened children, trying desperately to keep them warm beneath worn blankets as icy winds blew through broken walls. The children looked hungry and exhausted. The oldest boy stood protectively before his younger sisters while the smallest child quietly cried in his mother's arms. Ayanna explained through broken English that their village had been destroyed during a violent dispute. Believing she had brought misfortune, some frightened survivors left her behind while fleeing deeper into the mountains. Thomas looked around the freezing cabin and knew they would never survive another night. Without hesitation, he smiled gently and said, "Come with me. You are not alone anymore." As the children hesitated nervously, Thomas added with quiet confidence, "I lived here alone yesterday. Now we are 6, and this ranch belongs to every one of us." The youngest children stared in surprise before slowly smiling for the first time in days. Thomas wrapped them in warm blankets and carried the smallest boy through the snow. Back at the ranch, he prepared hot soup, fresh bread, and warm milk. The children ate carefully at first before realizing nobody intended to take the food away from them. During the following weeks, the ranch became filled with laughter instead of silence. Thomas repaired an unused bedroom so the children could sleep safely together. He taught the boys how to care for horses and mend fences, while the girls happily helped gather eggs and water the small vegetable garden beside the house every sunny afternoon. Ayanna worked beside Thomas every day despite his insistence that she should rest. She cooked meals, repaired clothing, and helped manage the ranch. Thomas admired her strength and kindness. Although life had treated her unfairly, she never complained. Instead, she focused entirely on giving her children hope for a brighter future filled with peace. News of the family living together spread quickly across nearby settlements. While many neighbors admired Thomas's compassion, others questioned his decision. Some warned him that helping an Apache family would bring trouble. Thomas calmly answered that hungry children deserved kindness before judgment, and no honest person should ever ignore suffering because of fear or prejudice. One afternoon, several armed outlaws arrived demanding horses, food, and supplies. Believing Thomas lived alone, they expected easy victory. Instead, they found a determined family standing together. Thomas defended the ranch, while Ayanna quickly led the children to safety and signaled neighboring ranchers using smoke from the hill behind the barn. Within minutes, nearby ranchers rode to Thomas's aid. Surrounded and outnumbered, the outlaws surrendered peacefully to the sheriff. The grateful neighbors realized Thomas's kindness had created loyal friendships rather than danger. Several admitted they had judged Ayanna unfairly without ever knowing her or the children she worked so hard to protect every single day. As spring arrived, flowers covered the hills surrounding the ranch. The children attended the local school for the first time, where they quickly made friends through their cheerful spirits and eagerness to learn. Teachers praised their determination, while classmates admired the stories they shared about horses, wildlife, and life on the frontier. Months later, respected Apache elders visited Thomas's ranch after hearing that Ayanna and her children were safe. They explained the family had never truly been abandoned out of hatred. During the chaos following the attack, everyone believed Ayanna had escaped in another direction. They had searched for months, without success, before finally discovering the truth. The reunion brought tears of relief and joy. The elders thanked Thomas for protecting the family when hope seemed lost. They offered valuable horses and gold as repayment, but Thomas politely refused every gift. He smiled warmly and said the children's laughter had already repaid him more generously than money ever could throughout his entire life. Ayanna gently reminded the elders that Thomas had never treated them like strangers. He gave them dignity when they had none, hope when despair seemed certain, and a true home when winter threatened to take everything away. The elders nodded with deep respect, recognizing the rancher as a man whose actions spoke louder than any promise. Years later, travelers crossing Arizona often stopped at Thomas's ranch after hearing remarkable stories about the lonely cowboy who opened his door to an Apache mother and 5 frightened children. Instead of finding a quiet ranch, they discovered a lively home filled with laughter, hard work, and kindness. Thomas often smiled whenever someone praised his generosity. He simply repeated the words that changed every life under his roof that freezing winter evening. No family should face tomorrow alone. Yesterday, I was 1. Today, we are 6.